Hello, hello, hello. It's Intuitive Eating Wisdom Wednesday. Hold on, let's make sure we're in the right group. All right, I am here. I am in our group, and hopefully you're going to be joining me. But if not, you know what to do. If you're on replay, hashtag replay. If you are here with me live, or even if you're on replay, thumbs up, a heart. It brings this training up to the top so that everybody can benefit from what I'm about to share. As you know, every Wednesday I come in live to share some intuitive eating wisdom with you. I am Bonnie Giller, the host of this group. Welcome to our new members. I help women stop dieting and regain trust with food so eating is easy, it's enjoyable, it is nourishing to their body and their mind. And I do this through the lens of intuitive eating. I do host a 24-week or a 6-month group coaching program where we work through the principles of intuitive eating together as a group, where you have support and inspiration. It isn't just about knowing the principles of intuitive eating. So many people will come to me having read the book, done the workbook, and said, it makes so much sense, intuitive eating. Like, where has this been all my life? I'll tell you where it's been in just a moment. But where has it been all my life? And intellectually, it makes a ton of sense. But you know what? It is hard to integrate into your life because of the culture we live in, which is why being in a community and joining a group of like-minded women going through that process is crucial. So I highly recommend you reach out to me if you are interested in finding out more about my Whole Body Trust small group coaching program. Intuitive eating for a peaceful life, ladies, because that's what stopping the dieting nonsense will give you, a peaceful life. Let me go ahead before I jump into today's training and just notify everybody that I am here live, if anybody is available now and wants to join me. So go ahead, let me go ahead and tag everybody now. I am live now. All right, so hopefully some of you will come and join me. All right, so today's topic is all about believing in your body. We talk a lot about body trust. What does that even mean? What does it mean to trust your body? How can you learn to trust your body? Because the years of dieting have stripped you of the trust. I spoke a lot about that last week throughout our End Yo-Yo Dieting Challenge. So let me ask you a question. Does the thought of not dieting scare you? Does the thought of not tracking your macros, or you counting your points or your calories or writing everything down, does that scare you? Because I know for a lot of people, it does. It does scare you. In your mind, it's like losing control. But in essence, when we finally give up all of that tracking and we stop giving away our ability to make our own choices based on our inner wisdom, right? Instead, we're working off of numbers that are calculated for us. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But when you give that up, there is a tremendous sense of freedom. The problem is believing in the messages of your body, believing that you can, in fact, trust what your body is speaking to you. So, do you think that if you stopped obsessing about what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat, or counting and tracking, you will feel, quote unquote, out of control around food? If you don't think that you will be able to live a diet-free life without all of that stress and the worry around your body, I'm here to tell you that, unfortunately, you're wrong. You absolutely can successfully give up dieting once you start trusting your body around food. But what does fully trusting your body even look like? So having full trust in your body when it comes to food can show up many different ways. Number one, never second guessing your meal choices, right? So how many times have you made yourself a plate, looked over at the person sitting next to you, and suddenly began questioning your choices? Like, wow, she only has one slice of bread on her plate, or she's eating that turkey burger without the bun. Maybe I should too. right? The inability to decide if you should eat a certain amount of food or a specific food or food group comes from often comparing yourself to others or what you see online or what the diet dictates to you. And it is a sign that you do not trust your body to make these decisions on its own. Number two, so again, we're looking at, what these are things to show you what it looks like to trust your body, right? So the first thing is you're not second guessing your choices. That's the first. The second is being okay with the unknown. So imagine a friend decided to take you out to dinner as a surprise. Would you get anxious about not knowing what would be on the menu beforehand? Like, oh, I need to check out the menu before I go out to eat to make sure there's a quote unquote safe food there for me to eat. Having complete trust in your body means being able to eat without a plan and letting your body decide what you're in the mood for, right? So that is sign number two, that you are fully trusting your body. Number three, no fear of the aftermath. So if you find yourself denying food offers, even when you really want to eat it because you're afraid of how it might change your physical appearance, that means you're not allowing your body to navigate itself around food. Like, I really want that dessert right now, but if I eat it, I'm sure I'll gain weight. Trusting your body means respecting it when it tells you that it's craving something. Cravings aren't quote unquote bad. Cravings are actually natural, right? So it's trusting your body and it's respecting your body when it says, hey, I really want X, and you're able to enjoy it without fear of what you think would be a negative outcome. You were born with the ability to trust your body around food. So before you say that you don't think you'll ever be able to trust your body again, please, please, please think again. Remember, if you're here with me live, let me know in the comments because I love to interact with you one-on-one. If you're on replay, hashtag replay. How is this landing for you? The influence that diet culture has had over time has led you to believe that that you're not capable of allowing your body to decide for what it wants on its own food choices, right? And that is why you are struggling with finding that trust again. So once again, we live in this culture and there's so many different diets out there, but at the end of the day, it's you giving your autonomy away and you're not listening to your inner body wisdom, which is telling you what? It's telling you how much to eat, when to eat. It's telling you even what to eat. It's a beautiful thing. Our body gives us such amazing messages, right? But the influence that the diet culture has had on you really has led you to think that you're not capable of listening to your body or to the food choices. And this is why you're struggling to be able to find that trust again. So number one, a couple of thoughts around this is the negative self-talk, right? Raise your hand if this is you. The way you view and label yourself certainly has an impact on the relationship that you have with food. Our minds believe anything we tell it. Okay, so if you've been influenced by diet culture, and I know you have been, which is why you're here, and you've been made to believe that certain foods are quote unquote off limits because they'll affect the way you look, of course you're not going to trust your body when it's telling you that you really want this food, which in your mind is quote unquote forbidden. Thank you, diet culture. So you may hear yourself say, I hate the way I look. I probably, it's probably because of all those cookies I've been eating. And if I want to lose weight, no sweets allowed from now on. And you promise and you promise and you promise yourself. So the negative self-talk, it could probably go even worse than that, right? You start bashing yourself. You start saying terrible, terrible things. If you are resonating with that negative inner critic, let me know in the comments. It's definitely work I do with my clients. It is transformative, seriously. Second is labeling food, right? Similar to labeling yourself, labeling food also gives you a reason to doubt your sense of quote unquote control around food or you being able to take charge of your food choices. When you stop viewing food from when you stop viewing food from that judgmental standpoint, right? You look at it from a neutral standpoint. So we neutralize all foods, which is something we do with intuitive eating, right? We're no longer placing foods on this pedestal because remember, when you are when you have that list of foods that you can't eat, they're forbidden, or there are very specific limits that you place on those foods, they take on a specialness all their own, right? But when you start to neutralize foods and you look at all foods on a neutral level, and remember, when I talk about neutrality around food, I'm talking about emotional neutrality. I'm not talking about nutritional, right? We really do know, all of us know, that different foods have different nutrients, right? For sure. So I'm not talking about the nutritional value of food right now. I'm talking about the emotional equivalency of food, right? So then you allow, when you have foods on a pedestal, you allow your body to believe that it is quote unquote wrong to want these foods that you've deemed as quote unquote bad. Let's take ice cream, one of my favorite foods. Well, ice cream is so bad for me, which is what you might hear yourself saying, because that's what's been that's the message from diet culture and all those diets out there. And you might say, I can't have it in my house, or else if it's in my house and in my freezer, I won't stop eating it. But excuse me, once we stop labeling foods, we remove this specialness and power these foods have, and something amazing happens. You can have that ice cream in the freezer and not dive through the entire container. Number 3, excessive restriction. So if you've been dieting for a while, you can probably understand how tiring it gets to always have these limits placed around food, right? Most of you women in this group have been dieting not just for years, but literally decades, because you've shared that with me, right? So it's exhausting, right? It's very, very tiring because the limits on food, it takes up so much brain space, right? So you have these things in your mind around what time, when you're quote unquote allowed to eat certain foods, what foods you can have, what foods you can't have, how much you can have, and it goes on and on. So the excessive limitations that you place around food from dieting are ultimately unrealistic. They're unsustainable, and you'll find yourself really blaming what? What do you hear yourself saying? I don't have enough willpower, right? Or I have a lack of control. When you think you can't stick to your diet plan, remember, this is all the language of a dieter, right? You may even hear yourself saying, I was so good this week and I completely ruined it. Why don't I have control around food? So, this is all part of what's happened from diet culture, and why it's very hard for you to kind of just say, no, I can trust myself. No, it's a process. We got to work through a process to regain that trust again in yourself. I know you can get there. The next point is about ignoring emotions, right? Oftentimes our lives get super busy. I mean, for sure. And we find ourselves getting caught up in all our daily tasks and all our responsibilities. And sometimes you're exhausted, you're fatigued, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed. And what do? You seek comfort in food, right? So wanting to seek comfort from food after experiencing unsettling emotions throughout the day is very, very common. And we know that it can lead to binge eating if you really don't self-reflect, because sometimes you're just numbing out from an experience, right? Sometimes you don't want to feel feelings. There's so many reasons why you're seeking comfort in food. But if we can just insert that space and allow ourselves to self-reflect and to understand the emotions, we may realize and see that, hey, I don't have to numb out with food, right? Evidently, when you come out of this autopilot, it's so important to just take a moment, take a breath, and realize that not sitting with my feelings or knowing how to do that, right? Because of all the years of emotional eating, which, by the way, those who've been chronic dieters absolutely resonate with being emotional eaters. And like you've heard me say before, I do not demonize emotional eating. I will not be the one to say to you, never eat emotionally, because we're human beings, we have emotions, and sometimes we may want to eat something if we're sad or whatever the emotion is. The area that I always say we need to work on is if food is your number one thought and go to when you're having an uncomfortable emotion, right? That's when it really becomes destructive. More on this in another live stream. But in any event, the truth is the trust that you're looking for around food doesn't come from this lack of willpower, doesn't come from having a lot of willpower. By the way, willpower doesn't even belong in intuitive eating. When I'm teaching my clients, we understand that willpower is not something we need within intuitive eating. You need willpower when you're dieting, because willpower is you willing yourself not to do something, which is eat something that you really truly want to eat. Well, when we're working through intuitive eating, we do not need willpower, right? And I think that's an important point. So do you often hear yourself saying willpower? I need more willpower. I don't have enough willpower. Well, the truth is, when you go through your intuitive eating journey, you will really finally come to terms with the fact that, heck, I don't need willpower. And look how I was bashing myself over all these years. Regaining the trust you once had in your body, and remember I say you once had because you were born with that food trust. Now, another exercise I have my clients do is we look at the trust and the body love you had from when you were born through the years. We sort of graph it and we see how that curve goes, right? Because when we're born, oh my goodness, like, we love our bodies. Think of baby. I don't know if you remember when you were a baby, right? But if you have children, young children, if you have grandchildren, right? Like, they love their bodies. They suck on their toes. They're fascinated with it. You were too. Over the years and over the time of being sucked into diet culture, you've moved away from that body satisfaction, that body love, and that body trust. And my friend, you can absolutely get it back. So what are your thoughts on this, right? How about you say, you know what? I am going to start to believe in my body. I'm going to start to trust my body. Let me know if you're up for that task. I'm here to support you. Again, this is exactly the work we do in Whole Body Trust. And I have been offering you all last week into today an opportunity to get on a call with me for an End Yo-Yo Dieting Clarity call. It is complimentary, and we can look at what your next steps are. Where are you in your journey? What help you do need? I'll share how Whole Body Trust works. I'll lay out a roadmap for you, and we'll see if it's a good fit for you. So if you do want to take me up on that free call, which is expiring tonight, please just comment below or send me a direct message. I will link below to my direct message link, so you can straight up in my inbox, and let's make it happen. All right, so that's what I have for you today. What does Body Trust even look like? Check out this training, watch it again, really let it land for you, and please hashtag replay. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you soon, and I will see you next time.